Shalom Israel, and welcome to another edition of Yasharalah's 20-minute breakdown, where I'll attempt to break down the scriptures within 20 minutes. But most importantly, and first and foremost, let's give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Waha, Rakah, Kadosh, and the Akims and the elders in the highways and the byways, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. All praises to you. And the elder women teaching the younger women, all praises to you too. And the camps making videos, pushing out there, edifying the body through social media and every possible outlet, all praises. Now, what I am going to touch on today is the rapture doctrine. I've heard many Christians, the Christian church, talk about this rapture doctrine. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but if you are, what they say when the Messiah, which the one they call Christ, is going to make his coming, he will come back and he will rapture the church up into the clouds, so they're up there with him, out of harm's way. And all those that are left behind, those are in imminent danger and sudden destruction. So all those that are raptured up, to be with the Messiah, the one they call Christ, is all the ones that, all believers, which are the church, all believers, all those that, claim that they are saved. So they're going to be raptured up, and then everybody that's left behind is going to get the destruction. That's according to the Christian church. Now, there is a film also called Left Behind, which was made in 2014, starring Nicolas Cage. Now, that kind of deals with the same rapture doctrine. You'll find that if you watch the film, which I have, just a quick, thing on it, and what you tend to find is that so-called believers get suddenly raptured up. So one minute they were there, next minute, boom, they've disappeared. All you see is their clothes is just there, and they've raptured up, because this is where they claim Christ has come and Christ has taken them away. They've been raptured out of harm's way. So you see planes falling out the sky because, like, the pilot being raptured up because he's been so-called saved. Children with their mother, next thing the child just disappears, just the clothes left there. Cars, the driver just been raptured up, the car crashes, because all these people that's been raptured up to safety according to the Christian church. And those that are left behind, those are the ones that are now probably didn't believe, they weren't believers, or they weren't churchgoers, and they're in imminent danger, sudden destruction is going to happen to them. And that's basically, in the nutshell, like the rapture doctrine according to the Christian church. Because the actual word rapture, to me, it means to be taken to another place. That's what it means, to be taken to another place. They've been raptured out and they've been taken to another place. Now, when you go into the Bible now, you would see that the Bible doesn't support that doctrine, especially if you have one like I do, which is the 1611 King James Bible. Now, the reason why this one is good, well, first of all, let's say the King James, because people see where it says the 1611 King James Version. Now, people seem to have this thing about King James Version. He had a version of events and blah, blah, blah. So he changed the Bible, or he wrote the Bible. That's incorrect. You need to do your research. Now, King James, when he became King of Scotland. Now, a quick history. Bibles back then were very expensive, and to hear what's in it, you had to now go to somebody and they would read and tell you what's in it, basically, because you didn't own one, you couldn't afford one. So what King James did, he now made Bibles affordable, because what he did, the manuscript, which was the Leningrad, if I remember correctly, and the Hebrew Codex, those two manuscripts, one was a Greek manuscript and one was a Hebrew manuscript, because according to what they say, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and the New Testament in Greek, when really, if you do your history, the New Testament was in with Hebrew also, but in Antioch and all that, there were some parts that were written in Greek, because when Paul went out teaching and all that, there was a lot of Greek speaking Jews, and he wrote things down, and letters, like a lot of these letters to the churches were in Greek, because they were in Greek provinces and Turkey and all that, where he wrote to heads of the church. Now, with King James, all he did was fund it. He authorized, because the version only just means he authorized to have it translated, because King James didn't change nothing. All he done was the manuscripts he had it all. He only authorized, he funded, he got 47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars, and he had them split into groups. He had a group for the Old Testament, a group for the New Testament, and a group for the Apocrypha, which is this book situated between Malachi and Matthew. 14 books that was removed by the Protestants in the 18th century. They thought it was meet to have these books removed. Now, the thing about the 14 books that was removed, because the Bibles you have in your churches have 66 books. In this, the 1611 version has 80 books. It has the 14 books that was removed, and it's called the 1611 because King James commissioned it, and it started in 1607 and it was complete in the year 1611. That's when it was complete, and that's why it's called the 1611. Now, with this Bible and the Apocrypha in its correct place, where it should sit originally before it was taken out, the Bible doesn't go along with the rapture doctrine, because the book of Esdras, because if you've got Ezra in the Old Testament, well, you've also got Esdras in the Apocrypha, which Ezra and Esdras is the same person. So if you subscribe to Ezra, you must subscribe to Esdras, like first Esdras and second Esdras in the books of the Apocrypha, because the word Apocrypha only means hidden books. That's all it means. It was hidden. They were hidden books, which they are of the 1611. They are manuscripts that are true to form. King James, all he done was authorize and funded it, for it to be translated into what we can read today. Because me, myself, I can't read Greek and I cannot read Hebrew. I'm learning Hebrew, but I'm nowhere near at the level where I can read a full Bible in Hebrew or in Greek. So this translation into English helps my study perfectly. Now, with that said, let's get into the lesson, and let me show you what the Bible itself talks about the rapture doctrine, and let's see if it's true or if it's not true. So now, without further ado, I've got my timer, so let's get into the lesson in 3, 2, 1. We're away. Right, my opening verse, I'm going to pick it up at the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 38 to 39, because this is the Messiah speaking himself, warning you of these things to come. Now, listen to this. The book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 38, and it reads, "For as in the days of..." let me start again. It reads, "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark." Verse 39. "And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." Now that's the verse we're dealing with. Now remember, in verse 39 it said the flood came and took them. That's a very important point. Bear that in mind, Now, hear what it says there, right? So now you can imagine this. Now Noah's building this ark, and Noah's we don't know how long it took Noah to build this ark, but nevertheless, he's building this ark. So people would have seen him building this ark, thinking, oh, why is he building this ark for? There's been no rain for how many, this and that. They must have mocked him. He's been warning people destruction's coming. They must have mocked him and everything. And Noah's building the ark until this happens. Now, this, I'm going to read the book of Genesis. Watch this. Genesis chapter 7 verse 11. So Noah's building this ark. Now this happens when Noah finishes building the ark, and he gets all the animals and his 3 sons and their 3 wives and his wife and him, Noah. So there's only 8 people in the ark with all the animals, 2 by 2, and clean animals went in by 7. So we have to know exactly what we're talking about. We have to read the scriptures. Now listen to this. The book of Genesis chapter 7 verse 11, and it reads, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the foundations of the deep, of the great deep, broken up. And here's the point. And the windows of heaven were opened. Verse 12. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Now, hear that? The windows of heaven open. So when the windows of heaven open, means it rained on the earth. So those Christian pastors that are telling you, oh, you're gonna be showered with blessings from the windows of heaven. Now you've just heard the windows of heaven means it rained on the earth. Yeah? So bear that in mind. Now, let's jump to Jeremiah. Watch this. Let's jump to the book of Jeremiah. We're going to take it at chapter 26 and verse 4 to 5. Listen to this. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 26, verse 4. And it reads, and thou shalt say unto them, this is the Most High telling what Jeremiah should say unto his people, which is the Israelites, and and whoever else, he's speaking to. And it reads, thus saith the Lord, if ye will not hearken to me, to walk in my law, which I have set before you. Verse 5, to hearken to the words of my servants, the prophets, whom I send unto you, both rising up early and sending them, but ye would not hearken. Now, that's the same thing that Noah would have been doing while he was building the ark. Because you've got to remember, before destruction comes, the Most High always sends out his prophets to warn the people, his people, of the destruction. As if you don't fix up, keep the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith of Yahweh, which is the one they call Christ, you don't fix up, destruction's coming. So, you've just heard it now in Jeremiah. He sends his people, and when he says he sends his prophets early, he doesn't mean rising up early as in getting up out of your bed 4 o'clock in the morning. What he means, he's sending them early, well before destruction happens. Just like what me and my brothers do. We go out every Sabbath and we try to warn people and tell them to forsake their wicked ways, come back to the Most High, the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, keep the faith of Yahweh, which is the one they call Christ, and it will be well with you. But we get mocked, and we get gainsay, we get all these things. So that's the same thing Noah would have gone through while he was building the ark. So it's no different today. Remember, there's nothing new under the sun. Now, check this out. Let's jump to the book of Isaiah chapter 30. Isaiah 30, and we're going to pick it up at verse 8. Listen to this. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 8, and it reads, now go write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever. So you see, we were even noted, like those men back in the day, we even told to note this in a book. So even if you didn't hear it from the prophets, you have the book. You have the book, so you can learn, and you can see and hear what's going to what's to happen, Slaki. So you can get yourself right. Now listen to this. I'm going to read on. Verse 9. And it reads of Isaiah 30 that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of the Lord. And here's the point as well, verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. And that's what the people like. When we go out on the streets, they like to hear, oh, love, oh, everything's going to be good and this and that. They don't want to hear the truth. When the truth comes out, you are a false prophet, you're this and that, and everything we say is directly out the Bible. No question about that. Now, let's go back to Matthew 24. Now we're going to pick it on up further. Watch this. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and I'm going to I started at 38. I'm going to just jump up to 36 just to show you something, yeah? And this is going to take care of some of you Trinity boys then. I'm going to do a lesson on Trinity, the Trinity doctrine, to show you how false that is, to break that down even deeper. But watch this. I'm just going to show you one verse. Listen to this. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 36. Listen to this. This is out of the Messiah's mouth himself. Listen to what he says. He reads, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. See that? He's saying that the day of this destruction, that when he comes back, nobody knows, not even himself, he doesn't know, but his Father only. So, for those you Trinity people who trying to say that the Son is equal to the Father, well, you heard it out the Messiah's own mouth himself. He doesn't even know when he's going to be coming back, when the destruction's going to happen. Now, watch this. This is the book of 2 Peter. Watch this. 2 Peter chapter 3, and I'll take it at verse 10. Listen to this. And it reads, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, and it reads, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. That's nuclear destruction. Fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. You hear that? Now, watch this, yeah? I'm going to quickly jump to the book of Zechariah. Watch this, yeah? You're going to like this. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 12. Now, check this out. Zechariah chapter 14 verse 12, and it reads, and this shall be the plague wherein the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. This is the destruction that is coming for all those people that has mistreated the Israelites, put them into slavery, forsake everything that has been said, and who's shed innocent blood and everything. This is what they've got coming. Now, watch this. Let's go back to Matthew 24 to continue on where I left off. Matthew chapter 24. And this is how this is going to happen now. All this destruction, when he comes as a thief in the night, as he said, this is what's going to happen. Matthew 24, and I'm going to pick it up now at verse 40. Listen to this. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 40, and it reads, then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Verse 41, two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Now that's where they get this rapture doctrine also, to say that one shall be taken and the other left. So they believe the one's taken is being raptured up into heaven, and the one left behind is the one that's, done for. Well, let's see if the Bible substantiates that. Now watch this. I'm going to go in now to the Apocrypha, which the books that they removed out of the Bible, and it's going to explain this now further. See, this is why with these books in, you cannot teach the rapture doctrine, because this book teaches against it. It tells you exactly what's going to happen and what's going on. Watch this, yeah? We're going to go into the book of 2nd Esdras, and we're going to take it at chapter 13 and verse 15. Now, watch this. Now, Esdras is having this same prophetic dream, the same dream that now what the Messiah was just talking about, one shall be taken, the other left. Now, Ezra, before has had this vision, and this is what Ezra says now. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 15, and it reads, show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. And verse 16, for as I conceive in mine understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days. Hear that? Woe unto them that shall be left in those days. So, those that are left behind, yes, there is going to be perils, but listen to this. I'm going to just continue on verse 16, where it says, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. You see that? Much more woe than them to them that were taken. That's what he's saying. Much more woe unto them that are not left behind. Verse 17, listen to this. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now you see that? Those that were not left were in heaviness. They were killed. They were taken because they were caught up in judgment. So they were killed. They were taken. Now watch this. I'm going to go now, read on verse 18 of chapter 13, 2nd Esdras. Listen to this. Verse 18. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. Now these are things that's going to happen to them that are left behind. Verse 19. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Now, I'm going to jump down. I'm going to get to the point now. Watch this. I'm going to jump down now to verse 22. Yeah. Listen to this. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 22, and it reads. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind. So now we're talking about those that are left behind. We already know what happened to those that weren't left behind. They were killed. They were in heaviness. They were killed. Watch this now. Whereas, this is verse 22. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind. This is the interpretation. Now here we go. Verse 23. He that shall endure the peril in that time has kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith towards the Almighty. They see those that have works and faith. Now listen to this point. This is clear on this point. Verse 24. Know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. Now, I want that to soak in. I want that to soak in. I'm going to read that again. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 24. Know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. You hear that? Now watch this. I'm going to jump to the book of Zechariah. Let's go to the book of Zechariah. Watch this. Zechariah, and we'll take it at chapter 13 and verse 9. Watch this, yeah? Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 9. And it reads, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. Now that's the tribulation and the trying, because what happens is now the Most High is going to refine. So the tribulation, those that are left behind, the tribulation they'll go through is to try them, refine them. Yeah? Just like how gold, like when you want to refine gold to get pure gold, you put it in the furnace and it separates the pure gold from the metals, and then you get the pure gold, and that's what you work with. That's the refining process, and that's what the Most High says He will be doing to his people. Now, check this out. This is the book of Acts. See, you want this smooth and everything. You just got to believe and you're saved. It doesn't work like that. Watch this. This is the book of Acts. You got to work for everything. You got to work for everything. Acts chapter 14, verse 22. See, there's no just walking, clicking your fingers, walking into the kingdom. No, the Most High has to prove you to see if you're worthy. So He's gonna put tests, tribulation. You make it through, you'll be good. Watch this. Acts 14, chapter 22, and it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God. See, Christians don't want to hear that. They don't want the tribulation. They just want to think it's all good and just bounce all the way through. Yeah, that's all they're up to. Anyway, watch this. Yeah, our time is going very quick. Watch this. I'm going to jump back to the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 24. Check this out. Yeah, 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 24, and it reads, woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith the Lord. You see that? And then I'll jump to verse 26. Watch this. For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth them unto death and destruction. You see that? And in case you don't know what sin is, we're going to take care of that, as I always do. This is the book of 1 John. Watch this. 1 John chapter 3 verse 4, and it reads, the book of 1 John chapter 3 verse 4, whosoever committeth sin, so we know we're talking about sin, transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. So when you are breaking the Most High's law, that's when you're in sin. Now I better go a quick few more and then I'm going to time out. Watch this. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 19. Watch this. Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 19, and it reads, hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people. Hear that? He said he will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thought. And here's why. Because they have not hearkened unto my word, nor to my law, but rejected it. You see, that's what you have done. You've rejected his law. Keep it going. This is Psalms chapter 91 verse 4, and it reads, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. What is his truth? Psalms 119 verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Now that's the truth. That's what you should be keeping, his law. Let me give you one more quickly. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 16, and it reads, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the triumph of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Verse 17, here's the point. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Now you see that? That's the ones that who are left behind. That's what will happen to them. They're the ones that will meet him up in the air, and so we will be with the Lord. Now I hope you got something with that. This is Yasharella. I'm about to time out. Stay blessed. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We out.